Hi, and welcome back to this video series in which I'll be walking you through the Forma platform step by step. You're watching Autodesk Forma from the ground up, and I'm Anne van den Borre, Technical Specialist in Construction at Autodesk. In the previous sessions, we focused on basic file uploads, standard attributes, and file version compare. Today we're picking up where we left off and looking at the different ways to upload AutoCAD DWG files along with how to manage the Xrefs connected to their host drawings. Today on the agenda, two example scenarios. We'll walk through two workflows in which a lead draftsman prepares host and linked files locally on a laptop. We'll look at the different upload methods and what they mean for file viewing in Forma and continued use in AutoCAD. We'll explain what Desktop Connector is and the role it plays in this workflow. And to finish up, we'll briefly explain how to upload DWG files directly to Forma from AutoCAD without using a local intermediate step. Let's start with scenario one. In scenario one, we have a single draftsman who creates the base drawings and stores them together in one local folder on a laptop. Then he links them before he uploads them to Forma. We see that link 1 uses a relative path in the host DWG and is attached using the attachment option. Link 2 is linked using a full or absolute path and is added as an overlay. The entire folder, once created, is then uploaded to Forma so the project team can continue working with these files. Let's see what this brings to us in Forma. In Forma, we select all the files in one go and upload them, just as we saw in the previous session, using a simple drag and drop method. When we now view the files in Forma, we see that link 1 and 2 can be viewed perfectly. If, however, we open the host drawing, the links and references are not present in the host, even though they are available and viewable in the same location in the same folder. Next, we try uploading using the Upload button, and we select the Upload Linked Files option. Once again, we select all the files at once. A dialog box now appears asking me to specify the host file. As a result, after completing the upload, when I now open the host file, you will see that my Xrefs, so my links, are clearly present in the Forma viewer. A brief summary of our findings in this diagram before we look further at what this actually means in AutoCAD. The aim, of course, is to make these files available to the whole team in AutoCAD. We can see a direct link to my projects on Forma. However, I'm getting a message saying I need Desktop Connector to do this. Let's take a minute to briefly see what this looks like. Desktop Connector is a program that runs on your desktop and creates a virtual drive that acts as a bridge between the local file system and data in the Autodesk Cloud. Once installed, you can read or write files to those virtual folders on your local drive, and those changes will be automatically synced to the cloud. This is similar, for example, to how Microsoft OneDrive works. You can find Desktop Connector in your Autodesk account at manage.autodesk.com. From there, just search for Desktop Connector and download the installation file. Once the installation is finished, a dialog box lets us know that a new Desktop Connector folder has been created on the system. When we click OK, a second dialog box appears and asks which projects from which hub we want to sync to Windows File Explorer. And in this example, I'll select our Benelux EU hub together with the My Demo project. Et voilà. And after that, you'll see that a folder in Windows Explorer called Autodesk Forma has been created. Inside it, there's a main folder for each hub and subfolders for each project. When we open the selected project, we can see the same folder structure we created earlier in session 1. From here, we can open files for editing in tools like Word, Excel, and of course AutoCAD. When we open AutoCAD, we already know we see the link to our Forma projects. And once Desktop Connector is installed, we also get direct access to our hub, including the related projects and folders. So as a draftsman, I can now easily browse to my working files and open them right away. When I open a file in authoring software, keep in mind that file is locked in both Windows Explorer and Forma to prevent conflicts. Other users can still view it, but they can't edit it while it's open in authoring software. If we go back now to scenario 1, we can see that in AutoCAD both upload methods work. The simple drag and drop upload and the upload linked files option. In both cases, the host file includes the required links and references. That's because AutoCAD always checks the host file's folder first when it looks for missing links. That's AutoCAD core functionality. I've updated the summary to reflect what we found. Now let's move on to scenario 2. In scenario 2, the lead draftsman once again prepares the drawings locally on a laptop, but this time the files are arranged in a different folder structure. The setup uses a main folder for the host file and a subfolder for all the linked files. From this structure, the Xrefs are connected to the host drawings using both a relative path and a full path. We'll then look at how the setup behaves when the files are uploaded to Forma and viewed in Forma, or reopened in AutoCAD for continued work. If in this second scenario we want to upload the main folder along with its subfolders and contents to Autodesk Forma, we can no longer use the methods from scenario 1. An error message will appear at the top of the screen. So how do we proceed? Well, that's where Desktop Connector comes in. I open here Windows Explorer and navigate to my project and select the location where I want to upload. At the same time, I also open Forma in the same location. I am now looking at the same information twice, but in a different tool. Next, I will then drag and drop the prepared folder structure, so main folder including subfolders and files, to the Explorer/Desktop Connector location in a single movement. And here I'm given the choice of two upload options, copy here and upload with references. I first select the Upload with References option. In this case, I am presented with a dialog box asking if I wish to proceed. I then see the structure of my selection. Click Next. And to conclude, I see how Forma will organize this upload. After clicking Upload, I see in both locations the main folder with its contents appear. However, if I choose option 2, copy here, the folder and its contents are immediately copied to the Forma Desktop Connector location without further prompt. Again, both folders and their content appear as expected. If I now open the host DWG in the viewer on Forma, in both situations we see that with the Upload with References option, all links are present and all information is available. In situation 2, copy here, no links are available in the viewer. The information is incomplete. Similar to scenario 1, the brief summary of our findings is updated before we look further at what this actually means in AutoCAD. When we work with the second scenario in AutoCAD and open the main file, everything is there for the files uploaded with Upload with References. The host file opens correctly and the linked files come through as expected. If we open the host drawing that was uploaded using copy here, we still see the host file and link 1, but link 2 is missing. So in that case, the information is incomplete. The good news is that we can still fix those missing links using standard AutoCAD tools in the Xref Manager with direct access to the Forma location. I've updated the summary again to reflect what we found, but there's one more method we should look at. Besides using Desktop Connector in Windows Explorer, we can also use the Desktop Connector desktop tool to upload DWG files with Xrefs. You'll find this tool at the bottom right corner of your desktop under the hidden icons. Just click the D icon to open it. It gives us several options. For example, we can add or remove projects from the list in Explorer, just like we did earlier when setting up our connection. But in this case, we will choose for Upload with References. From here, I can quickly select a group of DWG files, and Desktop Connector will automatically find any related references or links. Next, I choose where I want to upload them. First the Forma hub, then the project, and finally the target folder. The tool then checks the Xrefs automatically and shows me which ones, if any, are missing. At that point, I can either continue without them or fix the references first. In this case, We'll fix them first so everything comes through correctly in Forma. Before we move on to the final conclusions, I would like to raise one last point to round off our story. Of course, once Desktop Connector is installed, a draftsman can also save files created in AutoCAD directly to Forma. There is no need to save locally first, as we have a direct connection to the Forma cloud location from within the Save Drawing As dialog box in AutoCAD. Having this said, one final update to our summary gives us 3 clear takeaways. 1. Always use a relative path for your Xrefs. 2. It makes no difference whether the Xref is set as an attachment or an overlay, at least for uploading them to Forma. And number 3, for a fast and reliable upload of linked files, use the Desktop Connector tool or another upload method that supports links and references. And this brings us to the end of this 4th session. Our time's up. Thank you and see you soon.